Zolensky, who is the incumbent, and Andrew Reed. If you'd please do 1 minute introduction, starting with Tony Zolensky.
Thank you. Hi, I am Tony Zolensky. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. 4 years ago, when I first ran for this office, I said I was going to focus on 5 areas: property taxes, public safety, business revitalization, the environment, and constituent services. As far as property taxes are concerned, I voted, according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sun, on more budget cuts than any other alderman. But one thing I want to make perfectly clear, those votes are in areas that still maintained our essential services. I think it's critical that we maintain the integrity of our essential services. Notwithstanding that fact, there is room to make government operate more efficiently, to streamline government operations so that we can get a bigger bang out of your taxpayer dollar. Secondly, under the rubric of public safety, I received the Milwaukee Police Association Politician of the Year award because of my various efforts combating crime. I've led efforts to get additional police on the streets. In the area of business revitalization, if someone would have mentioned 4 years ago that we're going to get Sendix down to Bayview to buy the Grappy grocery store, that we're going to get an Outpost health food store, that we're going to get a Schwartz bookstore, and that someone would buy the Avalon Theater with the intention of opening that as a theater once again and restoring that theater to its original historical integrity, people would not have believed it. We've accomplished those goals and more. Thank you.
I'm Andy Reed. I've been a Bayview resident for now over half my life. I want to say thank you to the Compass, the Bayview Neighborhood Association, League of Women Voters, and Humboldt Park School for having this debate tonight. I want everybody to know that I really care about this district. It means a lot to me. I see a lot of development opportunities that are here. I'm a small business owner myself. I'm a real estate broker and have been for quite a while now. The passion that I have for this area, I want to see it develop further along. I don't see enough of what could be here. We talk about crime and that there's so many things that have come about with the progression of that, the businesses that have come here. But a lot of times with what has come here already, like I said once before, they came here because it was cheap. It was a deal. As far as the crime goes, the crime in Milwaukee has risen, so I don't see where everybody is talking that we're doing such a good job with that. So these are some issues that I want to address in the future and push for more economic development, but maintain our overall feel that we've grown to love in this district.
Thank you. Starting with Andy, please speak to the increase in assaults, burglary, robbery, sex offenses, and vehicle crime in District 14 between 2005 and 2007. Source of that was the City of Milwaukee crime data.
Like I touched on, yeah, I mean, it has risen, and I don't know why. I want to be able to find ways to combat crime. We have to look at other cities of our size and bigger to determine what they've done. Putting more cops on the street is a definite. It would definitely help. The funding for that, however, through the state, there's some cuts that have been made. We may not have all the money there to do so. But again, going back to economic development, without more businesses here to have the opportunity for a bigger tax basis, we are not going to be able to afford the devices that are needed to fight crime and to help prevent crime.
Okay, thank you. Well, first off, I'd like to say that the level of business development that has occurred over the course of the last 4 years is unprecedented in this area. If you look at the names that I mentioned before, and you add additional names like Bucyrus International. Bucyrus International is one of the largest manufacturers of heavy mining equipment. They expanded to Chase and Oklahoma in our area. There's a number of other developments. The Third and Holt development with Home Depot, Pick and Save, all that. There was a multi-million-dollar development. We got a tax incremental finance district created for that. That created many jobs. But I think the crime front is what contributes to crime is a number of factors. First off, you're looking at socioeconomic factors in terms of long-term solutions. That means we've got to work to increase the graduation rate in our schools. We've got to work to create family-supporting jobs and so forth. Now, there's a number of initiatives that I've been involved with on those fronts, but given the fact I only have a few more seconds, I'm not going to be able to touch upon all of them. One of them is a sweat-free procurement ordinance that I got approved that levels the playing field for American manufacturers so that we can hire more people here. I ran out of time, but I'm sure later in the meeting I can expand a little bit more on that.
Starting with Tony, should big box national chain stores receive TIF funds at the expense of small local businesses that contribute to our local community?
Well, I don't think we could say across the board that we shouldn't use TIFs or we should only, help a particular category. I think each and every individual situation requires its own set of development initiative strategies and techniques. For the Third and Holt development, that was a multi-million-dollar development that occurred as a result of the tax incremental finance district. Hundreds of jobs were created as a result of that tax incremental finance district. And I think that is a situation that was worthy. Now, I can tell you, 4 years ago when I talked with people, there's 5 things that they wanted. They wanted the Grotman grocery store reopened. They wanted an Avalon theater. They wanted a Schwartz bookstore. They wanted an outpost, and they wanted a major home improvement store so they wouldn't have to go to 27th Street all the time to pick up the stuff to improve their properties. Those are the 5 areas I focused on during the course of the last 4 years, and we've achieved our goals on those 4 areas.
I believe there should be incentives for both sets of people. Big business is a definite because it does bring jobs. However, with the businesses that are here currently, the small businesses along KK and other business streets, they're hurting because a lot of them don't know what's available to them to either grow or expand or to get clientele. I went up and down KK the last few weeks and I spoke with quite a few business owners that did not know the possible grants to assist them with redoing their facades. They didn't know that there were a lack of advertising for the district. So there's so many programs that we can work on, both with the small businesses to assure that their success is going to be there in the future, and with the big business to make sure that they come in to supply the jobs that are needed.
This one's kind of a long one. Stick with me, please. According to a UWM Employment and Training Institute report, only 1/3 of young men in the poorer Milwaukee neighborhoods have a valid license. Meanwhile, the report states 3/4 of job openings in the Milwaukee and the metro area are located in the suburbs. As Alderman, what's your perspective on this issue? Would you recommend changing city ordinances so that the non-traffic offenses like failures to pay fines no longer result in license revocation, difficulty in obtaining employment, and sometimes jail?
No, there's so many rights in the United States, and when you turn 18, you can get a driver's license. As far as owning a vehicle, of course, you need a job to get a vehicle, to pay for the gas, for everything, all the way down the line on that. There is public transportation, and there are jobs locally. So I'm not quite sure 100% where they found all those stats, but there are job openings in so many different areas close to home. At the same point in time, with what we just discussed, some of the big businesses that are prevented from coming into the area and some of the small businesses that are here can't fill their positions. So if we could work on something to get these people to find the jobs locally, more so than having to go out to the suburbs, that would be the best situation.
Well, I'm absolutely opposed to changing the policy with respect to the driver's license. I think one of the problems we have with respect to our workforce is we need to send a message that the laws and policies that we have in place need to be followed. And I think we're sending a wrong message by changing the policy with respect to driver's licenses. I think that there's adequate opportunities within the city of Milwaukee to identify employment. I think that there's opportunities with regard to transportation and other means to get to jobs.